This sea kayak, the sail we're installing is the soloist. It's the largest of the 4 sails. All the 4 sails are installed in exactly the same manner, so depending on which sail you choose to fit to your boat, the procedure is exactly the same. There might be a few different variations, but predominantly it's the same method for fitting. The methods we're using today can also be used for other brand sails and masts. First thing we want to do is assemble all the parts and the tools that we're going to need for the job. In front of me I have a battery powered drill, screwdriver, tape measure, a ruler, a string line, some tape, the appropriate drill bits and spanners and what have you to go with the nuts and bolts. All the fittings I'm going to be putting on this boat are all marine grade stainless. We don't want to go using any cheap fittings because the environment is very harsh on metal fittings, as we're all very much aware. Now that we have all our bits and pieces that we need for the job assembled, we need to work out where on the boat the mast is going to sit. A couple of things we need to take into consideration is, one is when the mast is folded up on the deck, it's got to be in a comfortable position that we don't get knuckle strike when we're paddling, and that it's going to be easy to manoeuvre once we're on the water, either deploying or putting away the sail and mast. The other consideration is the width of the bow of our kayak. As we're going to see in a short while, we need to have consideration to where we place that mast step in relation to the deck, so that we can have our side stays and back stays in relevant positions. The first thing I like to do is run a string line from the bow of the kayak all the way through to the stern of the kayak, just so that I know where the centre of the kayak is, so that I have a reference point to square the mast fittings off. The next thing I like to do is position the sail, mast and boom on the kayak where it is going to sit in the folded position. Somewhere like that, so that the cockpit is cleared by the end of the mast, so that it doesn't overlap too much. A good starting point is 1,750 millimetres from the centre of the seat, which is roughly where the front lip of the front hatch is. That is going to give me a good starting point. From here I can work out exactly where things have got to sit. Having decided that the swivel mount for the mast step needs to be roughly where our edge of our hatch is, we now determine where that's going to sit. Because of the shaping of the deck and the fact that we want to be able to get in and get that hatch cover off, we don't necessarily want to go mounting it so close to the hatch. I'm quite happy for it to sit just on the lip there where it comes up onto the deck proper. Using our string line, we want to position that swivel so that it's in the centre of our deck by looking straight down over the top of our string line. Before we go marking or drilling any holes, that's where the masking tape comes in. First thing we want to do is mask up the area. That will do two things. One, it will give me a nice surface to mark on with a pen. The other thing will do, it will protect the gel coat from any tool marks as we're doing the job, and it will stop the drill bit from skidding when we're drilling the holes. Next thing we want to do is mark where those holes have got to be. Looking down over the top of our string line and centering that up into the position. Using a pencil, just simply mark through the holes where that is going to sit. The other thing we've got to position is our side stays. We want our side stays on the edge of the boat, as far out towards the gunnel as we can get them. Be mindful though, on the underside we've got to have a large washer. That large washer has got to be in a position where it can sit flat. The other thing to consider is when we're mounting our saddles is the way that the side stays are going to pull on them. If that's a side stay there and I mount it on the boat like that and the pressure is pulling like that, that could be putting undue pressure onto that saddle. If I mount that saddle like that, so that when the side stay is on it, it's pulling in line with that saddle, that is going to be a better positioning for that saddle.